Hey everybody, Rusty here with Rusty Vintage Cards. Hope everyone's doing great today. I have a new pickup that I'm excited to share. And I've been saving my money for a card show coming up in April. That is Strongsville. I was not planning on buying anything significant before that card show, but I had a short list of cards where if the right card at the right price showed up, crossed my path, that I may make a purchase. And I did that. So it was the right card. I felt at the right price. And I think I would have regretted it if I did not buy it, at least make an offer and try. I'm happy that I bought it, and I think I'm more happy than the downside of spending that extra money for the card show, if that makes sense. I was not planning on spending much of my budget, but I spent a little chunk with this card, not all of it. So Strongsville is still on. But before I share this card, I have a couple of other pickups I'll share. And the first one is this 1972 Topps Ted Simmons. And nice looking card. Nice border on this. I love the 72s. They really grew on me. When I first really started paying attention to the 72s, I didn't like them as much, but you know, the retro look, the almost Art Deco feel to it. And this card also grew on me a little bit when I first started looking at this, see if I wanted to purchase this one. He looked a little squinty, but it did grow on me. It looks a little bit stoic. So the reason why I purchased this recently, I shared that I was picking up cards for players that have played with my local minor league team, which is the Tulsa Drillers. And back then in the 70s, it was the Tulsa Oilers. So he did play, if you can see that, he did play a couple of years with the Tulsa Oilers. So I will add that to my collection. This was a small pickup, only a few dollars. So happy to add it. 1972 Ted Simmons. And the next card is a monster of as far as the size of the card, a monster of a card. So this is a 1931, get some hair off of it here, fuzz. 1931 Cubs photo pack, Chicago Cubs photo pack. And this is Cuyler. So Hall of Famer. I have a little story to share on this one. Before I do that though, the thing you get with these large cards, or as Aaron at Value Vintage tends to call these items, because, are they cards? Are they photos? I kind of like the idea of if it has a facsimile autograph, I think it's a card. So I'm going to call it a card. But, the thing you get with these massive cards like this is just the detail. I mean, look at the shoes, the glove in the back pocket, the expression, the background, the stands, the houses, buildings in the background. It's just super cool. And this card is it's in pretty good shape. Really doesn't have any wrinkles in it. It does have, I know you're not supposed to always highlight the defects, but I'm going to tell a little story about it here. So it does have a few little issues at the top there. So I bought this card. It was an eBay purchase. It was listed for $40. I made an offer, got it for $32, which I thought was a great deal. These things are fairly scarce. Looking at the pop reports, of course, it's a little hard to tell with a card this size because they're expensive to get graded. But I only found one on PSA and didn't find any with SGC. So I really have no idea how many are out there, but I don't think it's a lot. So anyway, so $32 for a card from 1931 of a Hall of Famer, I thought that was a great deal. And you do get some of those bargains on the oversized cards. But when it arrived, I'll include a picture, but when it arrived, there was a little bit of damage at the top, and that was primarily because it wasn't secured in the package. It had cardboard on both sides, but it slipped out, and it was not taped down. The cardboard was not taped together, so it slipped out, and it caused a little bit of creasing at the top and a little tiny tear, if you can see that. So I messaged the seller, and we worked out a deal. I still wanted to keep the card, but it was a little more damaged than what it was, when I purchased it. So he knocked another $10 off of it. So I got this card for $22, or item, or whatever you want to call it. But that is, I think, is a great deal, and it's really a beautiful photo of a Hall of Famer. I did a little bit of research because I was curious, how did he get the nickname Kai? And from what I saw, it had something to do with him just being a dynamic outfielder, and whenever a pop-up would happen, the fans would yell for him to go get it, and they would yell Kai, something like that. So it ended up being his nickname, Cuyler. Not everything you read is true, but that's what it said. So here's the back, blank back, very clean. So just a cool card that I'm happy to add to my collection. I do have a few more details on him. Look at my notes here. So he had a .321 batting average over his career. He batted over .350 4 times, and he was a 4-time National League stolen base leader. Cuyler. All right. So the card that I wanted to share, I'm going to show one more to lead up to it because it tells part of the story. And that is this 1922 American Caramel Frank Frisch. I've showed this card, I believe, a couple of times, but again, it ties into the story of this next card that I'm about to show. So in 1922, he was playing for the New York Nationals. This was before he was with the Gas House Gang at St. Louis. So it was actually December 20th, 1926, he was traded for Rogers Hornsby. So there was 1 year that Rogers Hornsby played with the New York Nationals, and that is what is shown on this card. So 1927 exhibits Rogers Hornsby. And the eye appeal on this thing, I think, is just amazing. It is authentic. It says authentic minimum size not met, which is, it's not uncommon on a lot of older, pre-war cards. This also has a little bit of writing there at the bottom. It looks like someone scribbled out New York, which, why wouldn't they? Because he only played for New York for 1 year. So as Blue Jacket 66, as I've heard him say, it has a little bit of writing on it. Nobody cares. And I really don't care. The eye appeal, again, on this card is just gorgeous. Really doesn't have any kind of creasing or anything like that. It's just, I thought, just a beautiful example. The fact that it's authentic, it was a little more affordable for me to pick up over one that, would have a number grade on it. So there's the back. Not really much to see there. 1927 exhibits. It's fairly scarce. There are, SGC has 19 graded, and PSA shows 11. So 30 graded, don't quite know, obviously how many are not graded, but fairly scarce card. And I had wanted a Rogers Hornsby exhibits card from these early years, and I am thrilled to pick this one up and add it to the collection. So a little bit about Rogers Hornsby. He is known as being probably the best right-handed hitter ever. He finished his career with a .358 batting average. He hit .424 in 1924, and that record still hasn't been broken. Interesting character. He didn't smoke, he didn't drink, he didn't go to the movies, and he didn't read much. He read headlines in newspapers, and apparently that was about it. And those last two things, the movies and the newspapers, he believed that it was bad for a hitter's eye. So obviously very serious about his career in professional baseball, and very prolific baseball player. So that's it. That's the card that I have been waiting to share. Purchased it a few weeks ago, just got it in here recently. Had to go through authentication, but I love it. So Rogers Hornsby, man. I'll see you guys next time.